If you are not caught up with Season 14 of Supernatural, or with all Supernatural, consider this your spoiler warning. I don't want to be the guy who spoils Supernatural for anybody, and if you're still here, strap yourselves in because we have a lot of road to cover. Season 14 was a phenomenal season with some amazing moments and some unforgettable episodes, and it built up to an amazing finale. But there was one thing in the season finale that was bugging me afterwards, and that was with how the character Chuck was acting. He seemed to be acting contrary to how he normally behaves. That's because I think he is lying about more than he is actually letting on.
You either die a hero, or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
I think he is lying about who he actually is. Chuck is not God. My first piece of evidence to support this theory is Chuck doesn't like being called God. He doesn't want people to call him that.
God. Chuck?
There you go.
My second piece of evidence is Chuck isn't omnipotent. When he first shows up at the bunker, he needs to ask where the bathroom is.
Where's the guest room? I could use a shower.
He doesn't even know that Gabriel is alive. When asked if he can bring back Gabriel and Raphael, Chuck says it would take too long. But Gabriel was alive the whole time. He doesn't even know that Gabriel's alive. He doesn't know. That means he's not omnipotent. My third piece of evidence is actually something Chuck says in the finale when he's asked if he can restore Jack's soul.
Well, souls are complicated, even for me.
He made them. Shouldn't he be able to know how to fix them? The fourth piece of evidence, and probably the most damning piece of evidence, is Chuck admits he is a liar. That seems to be contrary to the very nature of God. That makes no sense that God, who's supposed to be a caring, loving being, would be a liar.
Wait, I thought Chuck said that the gun was the only thing that could...
He's a writer. Writers lie.
When you say God, I picture more of how John Winchester was acting when he returned in season 14. A loving, caring, fatherly figure who had a deep understanding of what he needed to do for his son's needs and his wife's needs came before his own, and he was proud of them.
I am so proud of you boys.
And that doesn't seem at all how Chuck actually is. So who is Chuck? I think Chuck is a master manipulator who replaced God and changed everyone's memories, and I mean everyone's, to make them believe he was God all along. And the reason I think he was able to pull this off is because I believe he is the third sibling in a primordial trio of siblings that makes up God, Amara, and Chuck. And this fits with the lore of the show. I mean, we've seen an angel do this to Sam and Dean, so this wouldn't necessarily be a difficult thing for a primordial being to do. And it fits with the theme of false gods and familiar devils. But if this is true, when did this take place? Where is God now? And why did Chuck do this? Well, I'm glad you asked. I believe this all went down around the time God was first mentioned to have disappeared. While God would have acted as he does in the Bible, always present and always letting everyone know he's there, Chuck seems to be the guy who'd rather sit back and watch things unfold.
And again, I'm not trying to piss you off. I don't want to turn into a pillar of salt.
I didn't do that.
As for where did God go? Well, I believe one character can give us a hint. This guy. The way he smiles at the end, creepy, sure, but not sinister. It's almost a knowing, caring smile. I believe the empty entity is in fact the one true God. I know what you're thinking, but hear me out. I think Chuck trapped God in the empty under some powerful sleep spell.
Took me quite a while to break free from your spell. Frigga would have been proud.
and uses the empty as a conduit to channel God's power into himself, as well as any of the dead angels and possible dead demons that were there before and after. And he does this without putting his own being at risk. Think the Infinity Gauntlet and the Infinity Stones. And enough time has passed that Chuck's memory wipe was also able to affect God into believing he is the empty entity. And as for the sludge appearance, that could just be chalked up to being stuck in the empty for so long. As for why he did all this, well, I think Amara summed that up better than anybody else.
To make you large. To make you Lord. It was ego. You wanted to be big.
Now he can act like God without having to be God, all for his own amusement and his own ego. And he plays the part well. Speaking of Amara, Chuck's reason for her not being there was really weak. Just where is Amara?
She'd probably be dead.
I think I can answer this. When Amara was first released, I think Chuck got a bit envious of her power, and rather than going through the process of putting her to sleep like God and pass up an epic opportunity for his favorite Winchesters to be in an epic story, he starts manipulating events to make it seem like killing her is the only solution. And he does this by making it seem like if Chuck dies, the whole world will start to die because the balance is thrown off. He even causes the sun to start fading out, just to force everyone to believe there is no other way other than killing Amara. But when Dean makes a different call and Chuck is forced to reconcile, he goes along with it. He instead bides his time, and when the opportunity arrives, Chuck strikes, killing Amara and trapping her essence, her power, in the empty. And that would make him the strongest entity in all of creation. This is also why he is so determined to have Jack killed as well. He wants Jack's power too. But once again, he really can't pass up an opportunity for a great story for his favorite show. And what better story to force Dee and Jack to retell than the story of Abraham and Isaac, but with a twist where both die.
What a twist!
But once again, Dean denies Chuck his entertainment. Dean makes a different choice and refuses to kill his son. And Chuck gets livid. He's had enough of the defiance. Clearly, this world is not the perfect draft. He could wipe their memories rather than hit the reset button, but that defiance is still there. Safer to start again. So Chuck immediately kills Jack, which he could have done at any time. And with Jack's power now coursing through him, he immediately punishes Sam and Dean by undoing everything they have ever done. I really think it's more than just the Lady in White and John Wayne Gacy and Bloody Mary. I think Chuck brought back every single evil thing the Winchesters have ever killed. Then he leaves to start a new, more perfect draft where Team Free Will doesn't actually have free will. But there's also a deeper reason why Chuck wanted to kill Jack. Jack has demonstrated how powerful he really is. With just 2 words, he was able to send the world into chaos. On just a whim, he was able to bring Castiel back from the empty. This terrifies Chuck. Jack could potentially snap God out of it, bring God back if he wanted. So of course, Chuck needs to stop this before it can ever even become a thought in Jack's mind. But not all hope is lost, because somebody has figured out that Chuck is not who he's claiming to be. Somebody that Chuck is personally getting annoyed with.
She's always sticking her scythe where it doesn't belong.
That's why Billy is in the empty with the empty entity waiting to greet Jack. She was on the trail to find God, and she found him. But now they need Jack to restore him so that God can join the Winchesters in their fight against the biggest bad of them all, Chuck. Of course, this is all just a speculative theory, but let me know what you guys think. I guess we will see what happens in the fall when season 15 starts. Till then, thanks for taking some time to enjoy my madness, and see you all on the other side.